Hello and welcome or welcome back. My name is Reb and we're going to be looking at my little visual journal today. Before we do that, I figured I'd introduce myself since there's some new people here. Y'all can watch me clean my very messy desk. In case you were wondering, yes, I am an artist. I work in all different types of media. I really enjoy drawing and painting. I also do printmaking, which none of this stuff is printmaking related because I do that on a different desk. And sometimes things get very chaotic here. Alright, so let's jump into this little visual journal. This is something that I started at the beginning of the year. I started drawing in a little journal every day. This is the second or third one that I've filled up. I can't even remember. But I've kept up with it since then, and it's become just the most fun little bit of my day. It's a really great way at the end of the day to kind of decompress and take stock of everything that happened and collect all these little silly memories. So it's something that I've really been enjoying. Let's dive in. So each month I pick a different medium. Last month I did a Pitt artist brush pen and the Derwent Inktense pencils. And this month I switched over to a different color Pitt artist pen that's a little bit darker, still brown but a little bit darker, and marker. These are Tombow markers. The first page, this was still the Inktense pencils. I forgot to switch, but everything else is the Tombow markers. So starting with 9/1, I usually work from home, but I had to work on site that day. I did some film editing, and then when I got home, I just hung out with my son out at the pond. That will come into play later. The next day was our typical day to run errands, so we went out and about. We went to the library, and he was cracking me up because he was using these little foam blocks as weights. And then we came home and he played in the sand pit and got sand in every crevice of his body, so bath time was a water hose. The next day, more sand. We went to the beach and just had a really fun time. Our dog Charlie was trying to swim out into the ocean for what I do not know, but she kept swimming way out there, so that was interesting. The next day I had to go back to work, but when I got home we played hide and seek with my son, and our dog does not help any hide and seek situation. She's too good at it. The next day I didn't get a speeding ticket, I just got a warning, but I did get pulled over by the cops. But the weirdest thing happened. I kept hearing this weird noise in my car and realized that one of the shells that my son had grabbed that we didn't look at very carefully actually had a hermit crab in it. So yeah. So the next day while I was at work, my son and my boyfriend took the hermit crab back to the beach because we were not going to keep him. Also made a cute little zine and drew some friends on an accordion little thing. That was really fun. That was I think it was a free draw Friendzy or something. But a lot of the art hang party community in there, so really fun. Next day was a Japanese festival that we went to. Um, it was just a lot of waiting in line for food, but we did get to watch some of the performances and stuff, and that was really fun. The day after that was a work from home day, and then later on we went and ran some errands. my son was cracking me up because he saw these little peppers and he asked if he could get them so that he could eat them. And man, did he! He ate so many of those peppers. The next day was a really fun day. I decided that I would go paddleboarding. I haven't been paddleboarding, I think, probably since my son was born. And yeah, I don't know what got into me, but I was like, I've got to go. I got to go and get on this paddleboard. And it was honestly magical. Like, it was a beautiful morning. There's like steam coming off of the river. I took some snacks and my painting supplies and just had like the best time. No notes. The day after that, I had to do some serious garden work, and I did not know that grass could cut you, but it did. It like cut me really bad. So after that, we ended up bringing in the heavy machinery instead because there was no way I was going to keep messing with that grass. The next day, I was having a little bit of a day. Um, yeah. And then the day after that, kind of same thing. I started a new book and then just played with my son the whole like evening. I don't know, I just wanted to like hang out and just play with him. So we built stuff and just had a good time. The day after that, we made some crafts and I made chili that night, which was really, really good. I don't know what I did different or if it was just like something I was really in the mood for, but it was delicious, even though Ryan ate like 3 bowls of it. Day after that, we went to the beach for a sandcastle festival. That was really cool. There was a lot of really cool sandcastles. This one was my favorite. It was Sandor, which was a Star Wars themed sandcastle, and they had done a really great job. We also went to this like kind of famous-ish candy store that had all kinds of stuff, including gummy chicken feet and gummy frogs. So we had a good time getting some of that silly stuff. The day after that, this was 9:15. I knocked something off of my like to-do list that I've been wanting to do, which was make kind of like a little sketching easel. And I got to just kind of test it in our yard while my son was limb lobbing. He loves yard work for some reason. I don't know why. The next day was just a kind of a knock things out, do stuff on my actual to-do list instead of the fun to-do list. So a lot of cleaning and things like that. The day after that was another like just kind of chill day, running errands and things like that. But I did take my little sketching easel out in the morning and then went for a hike as well. It was just like a really fun day. My son went with me to Home Depot to pick up some supplies for some stuff for this project that I'm working on, and he just loves all the Halloween stuff. Day after that was Thursday, art hang party day. Had a bunch of meetings that day, but finally it was art hang party o'clock. We got to do that, and then I just did some editing that evening. The next day I had a one of those like introductory work meetings where we had to all go around and introduce ourselves, and that is my least favorite type of meeting. I got home, I made meatloaf. That was delicious. We got some more green beans from the garden. And then I don't know if this technically is the same day because it happened at like 4 a.m., but my son woke up in the middle of the night screaming that he wanted a donut and just having some like big feelings. And when I asked him what he was feeling, he said, "I feel donutty," which I thought was so ridiculous. The next day, I went to an artist talk. It was, oh God, I'll put the name here because I can't remember now. But I did have a super lovely conversation with this lady that was wearing this like really cool skirt, and I just like had to ask her where she had gotten it from, and then ended up having like this whole conversation with her that was just so nice. She was like, sounds like an incredible artist. She's not making art anymore. She's retired, but she was just the loveliest human. So next day I did a little bit of collaging with Blue Shine Art and her little group. That was really fun, even though I wasn't really happy with what I made. I still had a good time making it. And then came home to my son making sand angels in the sand pile. So that was pretty fun. Day after that, I don't know what got into me, but I was working from home, but I ended up watching all of the Studio Ghibli while I was working. Oh, it was raining really, really hard, so I couldn't do anything outside. I did some stuff in the garden. I picked up some boxes that I found on the side of the road that I thought would make good planting boxes. So just some other stuff that I did. The next day, we went to the feed store, which was really fun. My son got this like little camera that we found, just like in a box somewhere, one of those like disposable digital or disposable film cameras. So he decided he wanted to use that and he took it over and was taking pictures of everything. I honestly can't wait to see what he has taken pictures of. The day after that, I got into a fight with my printer. Me and technology sometimes do not get along. And then later on, we went into town to go and see some friends who took us to see some other friends who also have little boys. And every time they ran by, an article of clothing was missing. And by the end of the night, all of them were just running around naked, and it was freaking hilarious. The next day, I just was knocking off things off of my to-do list. But we had the like cutest art hang party ever. We drew everybody's little stuffed animals, and I mean, it was like literally amazing. It was so fun. The next day was a really big day. My little cousin, who's not so little, he's like, I don't know, 6'5" or something. He's really tall. But he got married, and we went to a little kind of like, just a little get together with the family. Um, we made it a day basically because we went to the science museum, then we went there, and then we just hung out at my uncle's house, just playing ping pong and pool and eating street tacos. It was a really good time. It was nice to see all of my family. The day after that, I started a project that I have been procrastinating on terribly. I've been working on it for a month or so, but now I'm getting down to like the real work. So, and I had to go to work, so I was just like thinking about how much I needed to work on that project pretty much the entire time I was there. Next day was a live session with Hippo, and then I came home and my son was crying, like hard crying, because he kept saying, I miss Wormy, which my boyfriend explained was a grub that he found and wanted to keep as a pet. But my boyfriend, bless his heart, convinced him that he needed to put him back in the ground and that Wormy would be happier, like free. So, and my son reluctantly agreed, but then kept saying that he missed Wormy. So we ended up making one out of paper. Day after that was another work from home day. I had a terrible migraine, and I was like, man, this is the worst timing. But I still got some of my project done and then did some farm chores. I'm so thankful that Orion is pretty good about entertaining himself because I was working through that migraine all day. But he was just having the time of his life playing on a swing set while we did yard work. Day after that, I did some work on the project, and then the weather was honestly just like so beautiful that we had to go out and go to the beach. And I ended up taking my paddleboard with me because I wanted to do some painting, potentially painting and on the paddleboard, but I ended up forgetting my paper. And honestly, it worked out because I ended up taking my son on the paddleboard instead, and that was such a fun time. So it all worked out in the end. I ended up painting like on a little piece of driftwood because I couldn't go to the beach and not paint. So yeah, and that was the 30th, so end of the month. And then last month I started this new thing where I pick 4 favorites from the month, just funny memories or things that happened, and just kind of write them on here. And last month I wrote them, on the video, but we're keeping it short this time because I've got a lot of stuff to do. So the funniest thing that happened this month was definitely the stowaway. No question on that. That was such a ridiculous situation. Favorite thing that I watched or read? I started a new book called The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet by Becky Chambers, and I really like that book. It's sci-fi. It's gives very Serenity vibes. I read the entire book in a couple of days and hopped right into the next or another book that she wrote. I'm pretty sure it's the next book because it picks up right where the other one leaves off. Favorite thing I cooked or ate? I have to say it would be that chili. That chili just came out so good. And also the gummy chicken feet. Amazing. And then favorite memory of the month? This one was tough because we had several beach days. My cousin got married. I went paddleboarding for the first time in a long time, and all of those were contenders. But honestly, the joy that my son had on that paddleboard, getting on the paddleboard for the first time, hands down, favorite memory of the month. It was just such a fun time hearing him squeal with excitement. So that's my month. If you have enjoyed this little flip through of my visual journal, be sure to subscribe. I do this every month, somewhere at the end or beginning of the month. And this is such a big part of my life now that I can't see myself stopping. So subscribe. If this is something that you think somebody else would like or would like to start doing, feel free to share. And I will catch you guys on the next video.